Confidence. It's a word we hear every day, flung around in self-help books, Instagram captions, and motivational speeches. But few people understand what true confidence really is. And fewer still grasp its dark, dangerous power. On this episode of Psychtify, we're going deep, not just into psychology, not just into power, but into the mind of a master manipulator, Niccolò Machiavelli. How would he view confidence? How would he weaponize it? And how can you? Let's begin. Part 1. The illusion of confidence. Machiavelli never used the word confidence as we use it today. In his seminal work, The Prince, he spoke of virtù, a concept that combines strength, courage, cunning, and decisiveness. It's not about feeling good. It's about getting what you want. To Machiavelli, confidence isn't about affirmations or positivity. It's a weapon, and like any weapon, it can be used to conquer or to destroy. True confidence, Machiavellian confidence, is not loud. It's not needy. It does not seek validation. It radiates certainty in silence. This is the first dangerous aspect. True confidence makes others project their fears and fantasies onto you. When you're silent, they fill in the blanks. When you don't chase, they wonder why. When you act with quiet certainty, others assume you know more, are more, and deserve more. It's not charisma. It's calculated calm. Part 2. Confidence as a strategic tool. Machiavelli was clear about one thing. Perception is more powerful than truth. Confidence manipulates perception. Look at the political leaders who took power with nothing but certainty. Think of CEOs who dominate boardrooms without saying much. Consider the seducers who speak with their eyes more than their mouths. Their power? Not in words, but in unshakable conviction. Whether it's earned or not doesn't matter. Here's a Machiavellian truth. It's better to appear confident and be feared than to be competent and be ignored. That's why fake confidence, when executed well, still dominates. Because people don't follow reality. They follow presence. Confidence as a tactic creates authority. Authority creates obedience. Obedience creates influence. And with influence, you bend the world to your will. Part 3. The silent dominance of confident people. There's a pattern you'll notice in Machiavelli's favored leaders. They're not the loudest, not the kindest, not the most moral. They are the most strategic. Cesare Borgia, Lorenzo de' Medici. These were not saints. They were predators, but predators with poise. Their confidence didn't come from approval. It came from ambition and clarity. And this is where modern people fail. They tie confidence to outcomes. If I succeed, I'll be confident. If they like me, I'll be confident. If I'm praised, I'll be confident. That's reactive. The truly dangerous person builds confidence before they win. And that's why they do win. Because they don't wait. They move. Machiavelli would say, "He who waits for certainty has already lost." Part 4. Building Machiavellian confidence. Machiavellian confidence is not given. It is built, forged in discomfort, sharpened through clarity, polished by failure, not praise. Here's the brutal truth. You do not become powerful by feeling good about yourself. You become powerful by creating unshakable self-trust. So how do you build it? Let's break it down into 3 deadly strategies. Strategy 1. Ruthless self-honesty. Machiavelli would never lie to himself. He knew that to manipulate others, you must first stop deceiving yourself. Look at your weaknesses, name them, own them, weaponize them. The modern world tells you to love yourself unconditionally. But the Machiavellian man, he treats himself like a soldier under his command. He punishes laziness. He studies failure. He accepts harsh truths and then turns them into tools. You learn persuasion. If you lack social power, you analyze body language. You don't mask it with fake bravado. You practice silence. Confidence begins the moment you stop pretending. Strategy 2. Mastery through action. Machiavelli praised action. Decisiveness, not reflection, was the mark of a strong ruler. Too many people today wait to feel ready. They study endlessly. They seek more advice. But the prince? He moves before he's prepared and forces the world to adjust. Confidence grows not by thinking, but by doing. You walk into the room not because you belong there yet, but because you're claiming the space. You speak not because your voice is perfect, but because silence lets others decide who you are, and that's dangerous. Every action you take in discomfort rewires your identity. With every bold move, you tell your mind, I am not afraid. I am the danger. Strategy 3, emotional detachment. This is where most people break. They seek power, but remain emotionally fragile. If they're rejected, they collapse. If they're challenged, they panic. If they're ignored, they chase. But the Machiavellian confident man, he is emotionally detached. Not cold, strategic. He doesn't react, he calculates. He doesn't seek comfort, he seeks control. In modern terms, you must learn to remain unaffected by opinions, by insults, even by praise. Why? Because every emotional reaction reveals your pressure points. And a good manipulator, a real prince, never reveals his weaknesses. Transition segment, the shift in aura. Something happens when you truly build this confidence. People feel it, not because you tell them, not because you prove it, but because you embody it. This is the shift Machiavelli would exploit. Because once people sense your quiet power, they change how they treat you. They defer, they follow, they fear. That's not magic, that's psychological warfare. That's the power of the truly confident. Part 5, Social Dominance and the Art of Manipulative Restraint. Social life is a battlefield, and the truly confident are not participants. They are commanders. Most people chase approval. They speak quickly, overshare, laugh too loud, try too hard. But not the Machiavellian. His confidence is not reactive. It's deliberate. He doesn't move to impress. He moves to shift power. Let's break down how confidence becomes dominance. Not by aggression, but by manipulative restraint. 1. The power of underreaction. In a world that overreacts, silence is terrifying. When someone insults you and you don't flinch, you signal unshakable self-worth. When you're challenged publicly and respond with calm precision, not emotional heat, you win the room, even if you lose the argument. This is controlled presence. Machiavelli would say, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But let's modernize that. The first sign of dominance is how unbothered you remain under pressure. 2. The charisma of mystery. Confidence thrives in mystery. Why? Because the less you reveal, the more others project their fantasies or their fears onto you. Think about it. When you speak too much, you explain yourself. When you explain yourself, you give away control. When you give away control, you lose influence. But when you say less, you create gaps. And gaps are where power grows. In social groups, the most influential person is rarely the loudest. It's the one everyone watches, but no one fully understands. Be felt, not exposed. 3. Controlled exposure. Showing power in layers. Machiavelli understood, if you reveal all your cards, you become predictable, and therefore vulnerable. True confidence shows itself in layers. You give just enough value to gain trust, then retreat. You charm, then disappear. You impress, then detach. Each encounter builds curiosity. Curiosity builds obsession. Obsession turns into influence. This works in friendships, romance, business. even online spaces. Your presence should feel like a calculated reveal, never a desperate performance. 4. The role of scarcity and power. You cannot be confident and always available. Machiavelli would argue, men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. If you are always present, your power diminishes. But if you control your access, if your time becomes rare, your value multiplies. Scarcity creates desire. Desire creates leverage. Leverage creates control. That's why the truly confident never overextend themselves. They leave when they're wanted most. They speak when silence would say too little. They vanish just long enough to make the world miss them. This isn't cruelty. It's strategy. Closing segment, confidence as quiet warfare. These figures had many flaws, but they all shared one trait. They believed in their right to dominate. That belief wasn't loud. It wasn't desperate. It was carved into every word, every movement, every look. That's the final truth Machiavelli would teach us about confidence. You don't ask for power. You don't wait for permission. You simply behave as if it's already yours. Because in the end, the world doesn't follow the most qualified, it follows the most certain. Part 6. Romantic seduction and the confidence of control. Romance is not ruled by love. It's ruled by psychology. And in the game of attraction, the truly confident hold unfair advantages. Not because they are better looking, not because they say the right things, but because they understand one critical truth. Desire is not created by pursuit. Desire is created by tension. And Machiavellian confidence creates tension like nothing else. 1. The law of non-neediness. Most people chase love like beggars chase coins. They flatter, they overpromise, they overshare. But true confidence flips the script. It never chases, it attracts, and then it retreats. This triggers what every skilled manipulator knows. Scarcity intensifies value. When you seem unaffected by their beauty, when you're not intoxicated by their validation, when your life feels full, with or without them, you become a puzzle. And humans are wired to solve puzzles they cannot figure out. 2. Seduction through emotional control. Machiavelli taught that a ruler should learn to imitate the fox and the lion, cunning and force. In romance, the fox wins. Emotional control seduces better than compliments ever could. Here's how. You never reveal your full emotional state. You do not explain every reaction. You don't react to tests, you flip them. When someone tries to provoke jealousy, you smile. When they pull away to gain power, you don't chase, you disappear. This reversal of expectation creates obsession. Why? Because the human brain craves resolution, and you, the Machiavellian seducer, never fully give it. 3. The art of withholding. The seductive power of a confident person lies in what they do not give. Anyone can show interest, anyone can praise, anyone can be emotionally open. But when you withhold, when you give only glimpses of affection, then go cold, you create emotional whiplash. And that whiplash becomes addictive. The push and pull, the sweet and the mysterious, this is not cruelty. It's calculated seduction. Machiavelli would say, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In romance, this means be wanted so intensely that your absence is more powerful than your presence. 4. Irresistibility through independence. The final law of romantic power is this: independence is the ultimate aphrodisiac. The moment someone senses that you do not need them, but choose them, you rise above everyone else. You're no longer a lover seeking approval. You are a sovereign force, a king or queen in your own right. And people will betray lovers, but they will submit to kings. This is what separates the truly confident from the temporarily charming. Confidence makes you the prize, and everyone is drawn to the prize. Closing segment: the lover as strategist. modern world tells you to be authentic, to open up, to express, to trust. But Machiavelli would laugh. Not because authenticity is bad, but because unfiltered emotion is dangerous in the wrong hands. The confident person seduces not by chance, but by design. And in love, as in politics, control the frame or be trapped by it. Part 7. Confidence as identity, power, and legacy. By now, you've seen how Machiavellian confidence can shape perception, command respect, and seduce effortlessly. But true confidence isn't just for tactics. It becomes your armor, your weapon, your identity. Because in a world that constantly demands you explain yourself, the most dangerous man is the one who no longer needs to. First, internal power versus external image. Most people build their confidence like a house of glass, based on compliments, likes, paychecks, status symbols. But Machiavellian confidence is built like a fortress, internally reinforced. It comes from knowing what you want, not flinching when others disapprove, never abandoning your strategy to please the crowd. External confidence cracks under pressure. Internal confidence tightens its grip. This is the foundation of true influence. Not the confidence to perform, but the confidence to walk away. The identity shift. Becoming the dominant force. Machiavelli believed a leader must shape his identity as a tool of power. You are not yourself by accident. You are what you choose to become, through repetition, through narrative, through brutal self-sculpting. Here's how to do it. Rewrite your self-image daily. Don't describe who you are, define who you're becoming. Live in alignment with your strategy. Every move should reinforce your power, not dilute it. Destroy the old self when it no longer serves. Weak identities cling to comfort. Strong ones evolve on command. You are not the roles you've been handed. You are the role you author. 3. Machiavellian confidence in a world of weakness. Let's be honest. The modern world promotes weakness disguised as virtue. We are told to be endlessly vulnerable, to seek emotional validation, to overshare in hopes of connection. And while empathy has its place, dominance belongs to those who control their emotions, not those who bleed them. In this era of noise, distraction, and emotional instability, Machiavellian confidence becomes a superpower. Because when the masses panic, you move with stillness. When they obey, you lead. And when they break under pressure, you remain unshaken. The final law: silence as legacy. There is one last truth that Machiavelli would whisper in your ear if he lived today. The most powerful men speak the least. The most remembered men don't ask for legacy. They behave as if it's already theirs. This is why true confidence echoes beyond the moment. It's in your walk, your eyes, the way you say nothing and still control everything. You don't just influence people, you imprint on them. When you enter a room, they feel you. When you leave it, they remember you, even if they never understand why. That is legacy-level confidence. Final message: the dangerous calm of the unshakable. If you've come this far, one thing should now be clear. True confidence is not a personality trait. It's a weapon, forged in awareness, sharpened through restraint, unleashed with precision. Machiavelli understood what most modern minds have forgotten, that the world is not moved by the loudest voice, but by the quietest certainty. We are conditioned to seek approval, to crave validation, to trade our power for connection. But the truly confident, those who walk like kings, even when no one's watching, they don't just resist this conditioning, they reverse it. They speak when necessary, not when nervous. They move strategically, not emotionally. They seduce not with desperation, but with absence. They lead not by shouting, but by embodying inevitability. You've seen how confidence can silence a room, how it can attract without a word, how it can bend perception, tilt power dynamics, and shape legacies. But here's the final truth. The world doesn't follow the smartest. It doesn't follow the kindest. It follows the one who acts like they were born to be followed. This is not arrogance. This is not illusion. This is Machiavellian certainty. The belief that power is not requested. It is assumed. Don't just watch. Transformation. See you in the next one.